It's been nearly 3 years since the UK voted to leave the European Union, but lawmakers can't come to an agreement over how to do it. And today, EU ambassadors have just agreed to grant Britain's request for yet another extension. For more insight, we turn to our UK expert and royal watcher, Fred Weintraub, from WCGO's Gabby Road radio show. Thanks so much for being here, Fred.
Hey, Fred.
How are you guys?
Good. How are you doing this morning?
Good to see you in person.
Yeah. Lots going on this morning in the UK.
So this is like a soap opera that began in 2016 when people in the UK and Scotland and Ireland looked down a black hole and they decided, is it better for us to be a part of a group called the EU or a country club of 28, or is it better to be out on our own? Then the soap opera really began because they can't decide. So we go through prime minister after prime minister after prime minister, and now they're at a point where they don't really know what to do. So what I love to do is, when I'm in London, is ask the cab drivers and the black cabs, what do they think? Because they'll tell you, not only are they really great cab drivers, but they'll tell you what they think.
Yeah, very honest.
So they're saying, look, we're sick of this. 2.5 years, we see 110 pages of papers that we don't really understand. We don't honestly know what's best for the country, but we want to move forward in some way, which I think is in part what people in the UK want to have happen.
And Johnson was elected on getting this done by October 31st, and now we're coming up on October 31st, and wah-wah.
No shock there that he's going to say what he needs to say to get into office and to go to the Queen and say, I want to form a government. But now what he said was, we will be out by October 31st. Well, that's not going to happen. So look to the future, look to January, look for an extension. In the end, I would say look for a compromise, because you either write a check, it's like a divorce. You're writing a check for either 39 billion pounds to the UK, to the EU to say goodbye, and then you got to figure out, how do we do this on our own? Or we take the other approach. Are we better off? Are we stronger if we're part of the whole?
And it's really fascinating. This all kind of happened during the rise of Trump, and it seemed like a lot of people in the UK voted for something with this Brexit referendum they didn't actually know about.
Which is true, good point, and it's true in a lot of countries. That sometimes you vote, but sometimes you're disgruntled with how government works, whether it's Congress, whether it's Parliament, and you decide, I'm not going anywhere, I'm sitting in a pub and there's no chance that I'm going to get employment. Maybe I'll spin and go to door number 3 and see what door number 3 is. Only door number 3 might not be so good. So we're going to see. The drama will continue.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. Why do you think the rest of the world should care about this? How are we affected here in Chicago?
Well, let's be honest. People, as I travel the world, people care about what happens in their part of the world. We all talk a good story about, we care about what happens in other parts of the world, but if it doesn't affect our kids, if it doesn't affect education, and bottom line, if it doesn't affect the economy and our pocketbooks, we don't care. We don't care. So people in Chicago, maybe globally, maybe the economics professors, maybe the academics, maybe they care, but on a regular person basis, we don't care. Just like in Britain, do they really care about what's going on with the presidential election? Probably not so much.
Yeah. What is this extension actually going to accomplish? I mean, it's already been over 2 years. What's a couple more months?
It's going to accomplish nothing. It's going to buy more time. It's just like going into divorce court and you sit in front of the judge and you say, Judge, we need a little more time so that we can reach an agreement. The judge says, go away for 3 more months and try to get some mediation done and come back with a decision so I don't have to make one. But if you look at the numbers, if you look at the sterling and you see it drop, that means money's coming out of the pockets of people who live in Britain, and that's not good.
That's not good. Fred, thanks so much for being
Thanks
here. We
a lot,
appreciate
Fred.
it.
Thanks for having me.
Always appreciate the insight. To get your dose of royal news, check out Gabby Road with Hannah, Fred, and Justin Sunday mornings at 11 on WCGO.